Okay, welcome. Welcome everyone. Welcome to this session. Very warm greetings from Mercy Technologies. So, before we go into our agenda today, let me just revise you what we have done till yesterday. So, we started on trees. We had a good foundation on that. We learned about its theory. Then we learned about the various binary trees. Right? We saw about strict binary tree, full binary tree, complete binary tree. What are their properties? We have done a few few logical questions on that, and then maybe we tried on answering different theoretical questions that may come in the interviews. Okay, so we have done all those. Now it's time for us to you use that theory, or maybe we are done with our theory mostly. Until this part, let's start on our programs for today. So let me straight away open my agenda today. So my agenda is like I'll be writing code for binary tree traversals, and we'll be seeing 3 programs today. Most of them are interrelated, but good to have kind of. So we'll be seeing all the 3 binary tree traversals, which is pre-order, in-order, and post-order, right? And then we'll be seeing how to calculate the height of a binary tree. Then we'll be seeing how to calculate the number of elements in a binary tree, then the maximum element in a binary tree. We'll be writing the code for all these three elements. All these 3 things, right? So before that, I told you we'll be using recursion for calculating or dealing with tree programs. We will be doing it maybe eventually, not in this class, but you'll see the power of recursion, right? Here, but before that, I told you that you need to come with a revision of recursion. But let me revise you just for 2-3 minutes on that. Recursion is nothing but a function calling itself. For example, let's say I have a function called print of, let's say, n. So if this print n is called by, let's say, one more print, but let's say I'm doing something like n minus 1 kind of. So which means this is being called, right? This function is calling this one, and this eventually is calling this one again. So we have done similar kind of a recursive programs using, we have done examples like factorials, Fibonacci series, right? And I think various others we have done. Okay, so uh, having that function calling itself, and trying to understand what recursion is, let me try to show you a small example over here. Okay, uh, or maybe, yeah, this is a small example, or maybe I'll start writing the small example instead of just showing it to you. Okay, let me take a backup of this. There's my notepad. Okay, so what it is, case, for example, let's say I want to write a program of printing n numbers. So what I'll say is like public void, or maybe I'll say int print n, something like this. I have programs something like this. So for what is the input that we're going to say? Let's say int n. This is my input that I'm going to say. I need to print that. Okay, I need to print that. So my question is, for every recursive program there should be a base condition. This is the heart, right? Base condition. So what is my base condition saying? If, let's say, if n equal to 1, okay, so what you say is return 1. So before you return, let's say you start printing that, something like this, system.out.println of let's say n. Okay, you are trying to print it. So in case base condition is not the case as of now, then what you do is, let's say you take a number called int number to be printed. Okay, so I say number to be printed is something like 0. I'm trying to initialize that to be 0. And here what I'll do is maybe I'll try to print something, right? Maybe I'll try to print something. So what should I do is I should call this, right? Print I print of n minus 1, right? You are reducing its number. You are reducing its number. And what you say is, for example, let's say I'm saying system.out.print ln. So what you try to do is n plus something like this. Then you say something like this. And then what are you returning? You are returning something like this one. You need to return this small number. Let me try to run this program for you. Okay. I'm trying to run this program for you. So what is this program giving me as an output? It is giving me, oh, what happened? I did not write a main method. Sorry. Let me try to write a main method as well. So what is my main method saying? Main method is, maybe for that, I will try to make this a static. Okay. So I will, what will I say is, so I'm trying to call this print n by passing 10 as the input, which means it should be printing the first 10 numbers, right? It should be printing the first 10 numbers. Let me try to run this one right now. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So what we are doing when the base condition occurs, we are trying to print it. And then we are calling the same number using a reduced number. So we'll be doing this until n is equal to 1. And in that case, we are returning. So in our return, what's happening is we are printing that. Okay. Let me try to run this once more. So what it says, it will be giving me an output of 1 to 10. Okay. And one more thing in recursion is, like, let's say we have some tweaking, like instead of putting this line at this one, I'll be printing it before we call the recursive function. Okay. Before we call. So it means before calling itself, I'm trying to print this one. Let's see what the output would be. Okay. So output would be something like this. It will be in a reverse fashion. Okay. Which means before calling the recursive function itself, you are trying to print it. So that's why it's printing in a reverse order. If this line number 13 becomes line number 15, which means it comes in the straightforward order. So that's why this is how the recursion works, guys. Like, for example, let's say somebody wants you to write program to reverse something. Just by changing one particular line of code, you can actually reverse your logic totally. So I don't know if you have tried, you can try reversing a linked list using recursion also. So previously we did reversing a linked list using 3-pointer solution. Okay. So you can do that using recursion also. That is also a very powerful way of doing, right? So guys, this is just a revision of what we have done on recursion. Just wanted to ask, are you clear with me? Now let's go back to our agenda for today. So what is our agenda saying? Where is that? Yeah. So what is our agenda saying? Agenda is saying that we need to do all the binary tree traversals, right? So we need to do binary tree traversals. Let me take a small example. Okay. Let me take a small example. Yeah. So what is my small example? This is how it will look. So I'll be writing one small tree, guys. I want you to give me all the three traversals. So what is that? Maybe I'll take a red color. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I want pre-order. I want in order. I want post order. Yesterday we have done this, guys. Can you start? Can you start and then start giving me the output for this? Okay, Daniel says the pre-order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. You're correct, Daniel. Do with the others also. We have done we have taken a shortcut also, guys. So using that shortcut also, you can start giving me the answer. So in order is 2 1 4 3 6 5 7. Correct. You're correct, Tanmay. That's correct. Pre-order, Lata, you're correct. Let me write the answers that you guys have given. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is in order? 2, 1, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7. So anyone tell me the post order, guys? Okay, post order is 2, 4, 6, 7, 5, 3, 1. 2, 4, 6, 7, 5, 3, 1. 2, 4, 6, 7, 5, 3, 1. Perfect. Okay. So guys, you are perfectly following the class then. So you are able to calculate the pre-order, in order, and post order. And calculating this also is felt very hard for most of the people, guys. So good that you have learned it. So now now we are done with our theory, guys. We need to write a program for this one. So I don't know, like how to. Okay, let's try to see how a recursion works to write a program for this. Okay, how a program writes. For example, let's say I want to print something like this. So what is that? Uh, void. Okay, how do I write it, guys? How do I write it as something like this? First thing, I need to take what do you call return type. So what I'll say is like I'm taking it as, maybe I'll try to change my color. Okay, I'm taking it as void. Okay, void, and then I'll write something like this: pre-order. So what will be my input? Let's say it is binary tree, node and root, something like this. So my base condition will become something like this: if root is equal to null, what you do is return. That's it. Okay, this is your base condition. And what would be your actual code? Let's say SOP system.out.println of root dot data. Okay, so what is my second line? It is saying pre-order of root dot left child. And then one more thing is, let me increase this. Okay, and then pre-order root dot right. That's it. This is the code, guys. So if we use this code, we will be getting the pre-order. Okay, we will be getting the pre-order. So before we execute this code, I'd like to say, things like, let's say, maybe let me try to take a small example. For every node, for example, let's say my input is something like this: 1, 2, and 3. Okay, my input is something like this. So what I want to say is, we do different things in our calculation also, if you want to think it in a programmatic way. So for every node that we get, we do three things. First thing is we print it. Second thing is we go to left child and try to do the same thing. Okay. And after that, eventually we'll be coming to right. So for example, let's say there is 1. Okay. First thing what we do, we print it. And what is our second thing we are doing? We are going to left. And eventually what we are trying to do, we are going to right. Okay. Which means first thing I'm printing, right? Let me print it. Let's say my print. This is the example that I'm taking, guys. I'm trying to print. Yes, I printed. I go to my left. Okay. I go to my left and I try to do all 3 different things over here also. What is my left here, guys? My left here is 2. Okay. Let's say 2. Okay. 2. I do the 3 different things over here also. What I'll do, I'll print. So I'm printing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go to left. So what is my left? There is nothing, right? There is nothing. So which means it's null. Okay. And then what is null condition doing? Null condition is doing nothing but it's saying return. So what I'll do, I'll return it back. Okay. So which means again, what I'll do, eventually I should be coming to the right. So what is my eventual right? So it's just nothing but again a null. Right? Again, when there is a null over here, okay, so we are returning. Okay. If we come to return, if we return over here, then we'll be returning again. And what happens is we have already came to this right, which is 3. For 3 also we'll be doing all 3 things. What we'll do, first we'll print. So what 3, and then what we'll do is we are coming to left. What is our left for 3? It's null. So what is our right for 3? Right is also null. So when there is null, you are returning and doing nothing. And after that, you come to 1 and you'll be returning, and that's it. Your program is done. So this is how actually it's being done, guys. For every node that you encounter, you do 3 different things, right? Those three different things are written over here. How we came to 3 from 2? No. We did not come directly, right? See. That's how recursion is working. Tanmay. That's how recursion is working. First, what we are doing for 1, first thing what we are doing is we are printing 1, and then see, as per our code. Okay. First, what we did is we came to 1. Okay, we came to 1. We checked this condition. No, it's not the case. So what we did, we printed. Then what we did, we are calling root.left. So what is that root.left? Root.left is nothing but 2, right? So for 2 also we do the same 3 things. So after that, again we encounter null. So because of that, we are coming back. Because of this return statement, we are coming back from 2. Okay, we are coming back from 2, and then what happens? We are done from that part. After we are done from that part, what we should do is we will again be coming back to 1, right? Because we'll again be coming back to 1, right? Because we are done with this 2 also. Then we are eventually coming back to 3. The reason we are coming back to 3 is because of this root.write statement. After you are done with the root.write statement, again we do the same 3 things, right? So this is how recursion is working. Okay. So internally, so many things are happening, guys, but the code that we need to write is only this much. Okay, this is how the pre-order works. Let me show that to you directly in HackerRank, because taking the input and all will take so much of time for executing that in Eclipse. We can do it also, no problem. So what is this? This is a pre-order traversal, right? So this is a pre-order traversal. Let me remove whatever is written over here. Okay, so this is how the code looks for you initially. So what they say, let me try to read out the problem for you, or maybe not, no matter to read out. So this is the sample input 1 2 3 5 3 6 4 etc., and the output for the pre-order is 1 2 5 3 4 6. This is the sample output. So this is the sample input that's given to us, and this is the sample output that we need to print. Right? So let's say we need to start writing the code. Let's do the same thing that we have done. So what is that? This is the base condition. First thing we need to write base condition. Okay, first thing we need to write the base condition. What is the base condition saying? It's not a binary tree. No, it is a binary tree, right? Binary tree is nothing but the tree that has maximum of two children, right? So every node you take, it has either one, either zero, or one or two children, right? Is it not a binary tree, Lata? It is a binary tree. If you observe, what was the condition that we have taken yesterday is what is that types of trees, right? Okay, binary tree, what is the definition? It has the definition of something like this. It has maximum of two children. It has means every node has maximum of two children. Let's try to take the same example here. What it says, every node, you take any node 1 2 3 5 3 6 or whatever, it has the maximum of two children, right? Either 0 or 1 or 2. So it should become a binary tree. Okay, okay. Guys, no problem in this, right? No problem in this, right? Okay. So this is how a binary tree is given to us. We need to first try to print the pre-order for this, and the pre-order output should be looking something like this. So how these guys have implemented, guys, even these guys thought the same process. What they say, instead of saying bt node, they are saying node, right? We need to follow their naming convention. Okay, since we used the same thing for linked list also, I tried using bt node, but hackerrank wants us to use only node. That's fine, it's just a naming convention. So first let's try to write the base condition. What is the base condition saying? If, okay, if, what is that? Root. What happens when root is null? Root equal to null. So what should you do? You should do nothing but return. That's it, right? So after that, dot out dot print. So what am I printing? I'm printing nothing but root dot data. Okay, plus if you see here, the output is having some, one second, here the output is having some space, right? It's having space between every element. So what I'll try to do is, maybe I'll try to add one space here. Oh, sorry. So I'm adding one space here. Okay, that's it. So after that, what I told you we should call this method recursively. Okay, we should call this method recursively. So how do we call it? We are calling it as left dot root dot left. Okay, so what is the next thing? We should be calling that with root dot right. That's it. So this is how we can code it, guys. Let's try to see if this is working properly or not. Okay, let me try to run the code for you. Yes, so we are able to see that the output is working. Like the test cases, all the test cases are passing. So this is how a tree is given to us, and using this short code, we are able to print it. We are having a base condition, and we are able to write all this. Let me try to submit my code. When I submit my code, all the test cases should be passing. Okay, all the test cases should be passing. Let's see. I don't know why it's taking time. Generally, it shouldn't. Yes. So all the test cases have been passed, guys. Every test case has been passed. You can unlock the test case in case you want, right? But this is how a sample program looks. This is how simple the coding in trees look. Okay, this is because only because of recursion. If you want to do that in iterative way, yeah, I mean, it can be done. Obviously, it will have a while loop or a for loop. That's a different story, but we'll be doing it maybe later point of time. And in most of the interviews, the people expect you to write a recursion only. People don't expect you to, write these 3 lines of code. They expect you to, I mean, actually explain them what recursion is. So we have taken small examples in even in our previous classes also. So the heart of every recursive program is this base condition, guys. If you do not write this base condition, the recursion doesn't know when to stop. Okay, recursion doesn't know when to stop, so it's very hard. So that's what it is, guys. That's what it is. Now we have done with the pre-order, right? Let's try to do the next program, which is, I mean, in order also you can do, but I have taken a post order. So what is my post order? It has the same. Okay, let me show the main method for this. Let's see how they have implemented the main method. So what is the main method saying? This is the main method. Just a second, guys. Okay, so this is how a main method is looking. So I don't know how to increment this one. Or yeah, I can do it. What is the program saying? Yeah, this is this is what our program says. So this is our main method. So what is the main method saying, guys? Something like this. It says insert first. It's yeah, this is the main method. Maybe it's trying to scan something and they have written a while loop. All this is taking for a sample input, and we'll be able to see the output properly, right? Okay. Okay, fine. So now let's go to the post order. So what is the post order saying? Post order, we need to print the post order for this. Like we can actually find out the post order, and this is sample output for it. Now let me try to code it. Same thing, nothing much in it, but let me try to do it again. If so what it says, root equal to null. This is the base condition. What is my base condition saying? If this is the case, then what you do nothing but you return, right? After that, what you do, you call system dot out dot. It's not println, guys, it is print, because they are expecting us to print like that. So what is that? Root dot data plus, you will be having some space over here. After that, you need to call this post order method, right? You need to call this post order method with what? With something like this, root dot left. Oh, sorry, this is post order, right? So what is the post order, guys? Yesterday we have taken that, right? Post order means first we need to print the left. Okay, first we need to print the left. So after, no. Post order is nothing but something like this, guys. First we need to print the left, right? So after that we need to print right. I mean to say, printing in the sense we need to call for right. Okay, then we need to print root, something like this. So after that, then we have to print root. Let me try to run this code. What Lata says, left, root, right. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, this is what I wanted. So what we are trying to do, left, right, we are calling the same method using left and right, and finally we are trying to print the root dot data. That's it. So nothing fancy in this code, and we are able to see that we are able to run this code properly. Okay, we are able to run the code properly. So what I'll try to do is, maybe I'll submit the code. When you submit the code, all the five test cases should be passing. Let's see if they pass or not. I don't know why it's taking time, but yeah, fine. So we are able to pass all the test cases and finally say that our post order program is working. So similarly, you need to try even for in order, guys. The code change would only become the system.out.println, and this method you need to cut it and paste it in between these two, and that's it. This should be working for in order as well. Okay, so this is how the in order program works. Pre-order, post order, and in order programs work. This, the theory is very important. People ask you to write the output, and after that they want you to code. And the code, as I told you yesterday, the code is very simple, but understanding pre-order, in order, and post order, giving the outputs for that is a most important part. If you go for the discussions and all, they'll give you different weird kind of solutions, but don't follow them, right? You can follow these three simple steps, and then you are able to print the output of it. All right, now let's move forward to our next topic. So let me go back to my agenda. So what is that? So what is the next thing, guys? So this is the thing. We are done with pre-order, post-order, in order. We are done with the code also. We are done with the analysis also. So one more thing is like, let's try to see the time and space complexity for the code that we have written, guys. Let me show that to you. So time and space complexity for the code that we have written. The time and space complexity is nothing but this is a recursive way. We had a formula for that. Okay. You can refer the formula as well, but what I want to say is time complexity is nothing but okay, something like this. Time complexity. Do you remember the time complexity formula, guys? Time complexity formula is nothing but number of function calls. I can say number of function calls into time complexity of each call, and ignore recursive call. So something like this, we had a formula. I think we have written the formula also. So time complexity is number of function calls. How many function calls will be there, guys? For example, let's say there are 7 numbers over here, right? There are 7. We have to go to every number and we need to print it, right? For example, let's say there is 7 here. We need to go to every number and we need to print it, right? So that's why, since we need to process every number over here, if the number is 7, which means it will be 7 steps. If the number is 700, it is 700 steps, which means it is linearly increasing due to the input that we are giving. So in turn, it becomes order of n time complexity. The reason is, for we have that many number of items in our binary tree. We are using the problem, and finally we are printing that many number of items, right? So which means we are doing it in that many number of steps, which gives us the order of n time complexity. And how about the space complexity? If you see space complexity, guys, we were previously talking about the stack and its height and all. Finally, I think we have already taken that example. You can run through that example and finally find out that the space complexity will be nothing but the height of the tree. For example, let's say, so what happens? So maybe I'll show that to you. So what happens is there will be a stack which gets created, right? A stack which gets created. Finally, we call it with f of 1, and finally we call it for f of 2, right? And the processing is over for this one. It comes to f of 1, that calls f of 3, right? And that in turn calls f of 4, right? F of 4. So, and f of 4's functionality is done. So you come back to f of 3, and then you call f of 5, right? F of 5. And then what f of 5 does? F of 5 does f of 6. Okay, something like this. And finally, this is also done. And finally, you come to f of 7. This is also done. This is also done. This is also done. This is also done. So eventually what you will understand over here is the height of this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So height of the stack that is getting created internally is 4. So which means it is directly proportional to the height of the tree, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's why an extra space is getting created internally because of your program. So that's why your space complexity will become order of height, height. So I can actually say order of h, or again it is a constant, right? It increases as the input increases. So again it will become eventually order of n. The reason is we really do not know. For example, we have taken tree something like this, right? So in a tree something which is like this. For example, we have taken a tree something like this. Let's say our tree is something like this: 1, 2, 3. So in that way, the height of the stack will become 1 and 2, right? The height of the stack will become only 1 and 2. Only 1 and 2. But let's say the input of the tree is something like this: 1, 2, and 3. So in this way, what happens? The height of the tree becomes 3, because it will directly become the height of the tree, as we have discussed. So which means what I want to conclude is, if you take a worst case example tree of something like this, so what happens is your processing time or your stack will grow that many number of times, right? That many number of times. So it will eventually become order of n. So we will generally take the worst case scenario. So that is why in the worst case, it will be the height of the tree will be as big as the number of elements. So that's why the time complexity also will, the space complexity also will be becoming order of n, right? This is how you calculate the time and space complexity for recursive programs case. Okay. So I think you understood, because we have done many problems in this. I think I was on mute. Lata, you can take the programs from, programs in this sense recordings, and you can actually get yourself well familiarized with all these things, so that you can calculate the time and space complexity, right? We have done so many examples on this previously, guys. So it should be a straightforward one. Okay. So now what I want to say is we will be moving forward in our next part of our agenda. So what is that? What is that? Programs. Yes, what are the programs that we thought of doing? So we have done this first one: height of a binary tree, number of elements in a binary tree, maximum element in a binary tree. Let's start writing code for that. Okay. So what is the height of a binary tree? My whiteboard, right? Let me take something new. So I will be taking some example, which is something like this. So what is that? 1, let's say 2, 3, and 4. So just by saying this, what is the height of the tree? This, what is the height of this one, guys? The height of this one is 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Height will become 4, right? Height will become 4. We need to solve this problem. Actually, we need to solve this problem. So how do we write? Let's start writing the code as well, right? Let's start writing the code as well for this. That too, we are using recursion, guys. So yeah, fine. Yeah, correct, Apurva. It is 4. Okay, we'll try to write code for this one. So what is the code saying? Code is saying, which is very simple, something like this. So what I'll say is I need to get the height, right? So what I'll say is something like this: int. Okay, let's say I have a method called let's say I have a method called get height. So what will I pass? I'll pass bt node root, something like this. I'll pass. Okay, I need to get height. So let's try to write the base condition for this case. Let's try to write the base condition for this. So what is the base condition? Base condition is nothing but if the root, if root itself is null, if root is equal to null. So what will be my height, guys? My height, let's say I want to denote that it is an invalid input. So let's say what I'll do is I'll return -1. So what you have to return, either you have to return 0, you have to return -1, or you have to return -100. Everything that depends on the problem description, guys. I'll be showing that to you. Okay. So in this case, if root is equal to null, then you are returning -1, which means there is no height existing for that tree. Okay. So now what I'll try to do is, so recursive programming, something like this, guys. Root first. What will root think? Root, we are asking root, hey root, give me your height, or you have so many things under you, right? I want the maximum height you have. So what will root say? But I do not know what is my height. So let me ask my left child and let me ask my right child. So after they give me, finally I'll be in a position to calculate the height. This is what root says. So let's say we are taking int left height. Okay, left height. What am I trying to do is, in this thing called left height, I'm trying to call this get height of root dot left, something like this I'm calling. And finally I'm saying int right height. Right height is nothing but get height of what? Root dot left. Oh, root dot right, something like this I'll be writing. And finally, what should I return? What my root is saying, my root is saying, hey left child, give me your height. So that's why I'm calling get height of left child. And root is even saying, hey right child, give me your height also. So finally, eventually, what will left height do? So I mean, the left child will eventually go until the end and say, okay, this is my height, this is my height. So that will be given to root. So eventually this right child also will be giving you the height. So what you should do is you should be calculating max among those. For example, let's say here there is one more example, one more, which is 5. So the left height will be given as 1 and the right height will be given as 1, 2, 3, 3, right? So it means I should be calculating which is the max, which is the maximum, and then I should be returning, right? So which means my left height is saying the root that this is my left height. So what I'll say is there is some method called math.max. So this is in Java. I guess you can, if you're trying to do it in some other programming language, you can have similar thing. So it's like math.max of, so what is that? Left height, comma, right height. So one more thing is my left is asking, my root is asking my left child, root is asking my right child, right? So these guys have taken, we need to calculate the maximum. After that, we need to even calculate one more thing, which is my root itself is having a level of 1, right? So I need to add 1 and I need to return this, right? That's it. Okay, this is how I'll be getting the height of a binary tree. So how are you calculating the height? We'll be writing the base condition first. This is the base condition. This is the base condition. After we write the base condition, my root is asking my left subtree that what is your height. My root is asking my right subtree what is your height. And finally, I'll be calling this method recursively. And finally, I'll be returning. So again, this left height will have some value. For example, in our case, it is in our example, it is 1, right? In our example, it is 1. And finally, in this example, 1, 2, 3. So it is 3, right? It is 3. But actually speaking, what is the actual height? The actual height is root plus that many number of, the height of the left and right subtrees, which is the maximum. So I say return math.max of left height, right height. And then finally, I'm saying I'm adding 1. This 1 is because of the root. And finally, I'm returning. So this is how the get height method looks, guys. Let me show that. Let me run that and show it to you so that it becomes even more clear. So what is this one saying? Yeah, tree height, right? Tree height. I'm trying to, let me not write this. I'm removing everything. Okay, I'm removing everything. Maybe let me take a backup so that something goes wrong, then I can refer. Okay, so something like this. If I'm trying to write it, if root is equal to null, so what you should do, you should return -1. Okay, so if this is not the case, so what you should do, you should say int left height is equal to what? Height of, you're calling this, right? Left height is equal to height of root dot left. Okay, so similarly, we want to take a right height, right? We want to take a right height. So I'm taking something like this, which is my right. Okay, so after that, I need to calculate return math.max of. So I'm returning, I'm having two here. What is that? Left height, and then right height. So okay, sorry, I think I copied it like this. So it should be right height, right? And then I'll be adding +1 because this is the height of the root, right? +1. That's it. Let me try to run this code for you. So yeah, all our test cases are passing. These are sample test cases. Okay. And then maybe I'll try to submit my code. This is how I submit my code. This is how I submit my code. And this is how it is. Finally, we are able to insert. Yeah, insert function. One second. Lata, insert function is nothing, but we are not actually thinking of learning that because that's not our purpose, right? Insert function itself is something like this. Maybe they are trying to insert. Yeah, this is already written to you, so you need not, you need not waste your time in inserting, etc., etc. Giving the test cases, etc., is the work of HackerRank. That's why we can practice on HackerRank, right? Your actual intention is to learn how to write your recursive program. This is the program that they want you to write, and you can write it, right? So this is how we will calculate the height of a binary tree, guys. Height of a binary tree. Okay. Yeah. So root is equal to null. Then why you return -1? Okay. Something like this, or maybe yeah. Here in the function description, what it says, guys, compute the height, get height, or height of a function. It must return the height of a binary tree as an integer. So which means we need to return some integer. Tanma, I'm reading for you only. So get height or height has the following parameters: root, the height of a binary tree with single node is taken as 0, right? The height of a binary tree with a single node is taken as 0, which means if the input is only 4, okay, if the input is only 4, so which means if there is nothing of root, I mean nothing other than root, so they are saying the height is taken as 0, right? Here what will be the height? 1 2 3 4, right? What will be the height here? But they are saying the output is 3, right? Even though we calculated that as output as 4, these guys are saying it's output as 3. So let's say if they want us to give the output of 4, then we can return 0, right? So that's because of the problem description that they have given. Actually they want us to take it like that, so that's why I have coded like that. So I was about to come to that point. Good that you asked me the question. So that's why I guess we have to see this kind of see the problem description, and after we see the problem description, we should be in a position to calculate this and finally give the output. So that is the reason I've taken this -1, or else if they wanted me to give some other output, I can take it as 0, etc., 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 right? So with this, guys, are you able to understand the program of getting the height of a binary tree? It's so simple. Okay, why is math.max function required? Let's go back to our example, our small example. So what it says, our left height, we are asking in our program, in our recursive program, what we are trying to ask is, we are trying to ask, my root is asking, hey, left subtree, what is your height? Okay, and left subtree or left height is given to be 1, right? And my root is asking, hey, right subtree, what is your height? Right? Recursively it finds out, and finally at this particular point it says, yeah, my height is nothing but, one second, my height is nothing but, here it is passing as 1, right? Here my height is nothing but 1 2 3, right? It is 3. Now I need to find the height of it, right? I need to find the height of it. So which means if my left subtree is having the height of 1, if my right subtree is having the height of 3, my actual height will become root plus 3, right? Because we are ignoring this one because it is shorter in comparison, in comparative to my right subtree. So that's why I'm taking the maximum height of both the heights, and finally I'm adding 1 to it. That's it. That is what I've done here. So what I did, I've taken maximum of this and I try to add it, and finally I'm returning it, right? Rishikesh, you got why we did this? You got why we do this? Rishikesh, if you okay, some confusion. So there's nothing to be confused here, Rishikesh. Let me try to go for the same program here once more. So what it says, the program that we have written over here says something like this. I need to get height. So how do I get? I've written a base condition. I've taken two variables, left height and right height. Okay, I'm saying left height, left height. How do I get the left height? I'm calling the same function recursively, and I'm saying root dot left. So what my root dot left says, root dot left is saying that you come to this 5 and then you come to this null, then you come to this null, etc., etc., and finally this will give me a left height of 1, right? When you try to debug again, this right height will give me a right height of 3, right? 1 and 3. Now what I want to say is I want you to give me the height of a tree. So let's say until this point, let's say guys, there's a power cut. I had to join once more. Uh, are you able to see my screen, guys? Are you able to see my screen? Uh, okay. So yes. Cool. So where we have left in a particular point. We are saying root is asking the left left subtree's height, and root is asking the right subtree's height. Left subtree's height is saying that my height is 1, and right subtree's height is saying my height is 3. My eventually, what should I do is I should actually calculate what is the height of my tree, right? I really do not care if the left child is, let's say, having less height and right is having more height. So I'll be taking the more height and then I'll be adding myself, which is root, right? And only then I'll be returning, right? It is, I mean, this is a simple logic, right? So it's like you're trying to find out the maximum. The reason is your problem statement says you need to get me the height. What is height? Height is nothing but the maximum depth it can have from root until the end, right? Uh, are you still having any confusion, Rishikesh? Okay. So in case anyone is not clear of this, guys, like do this collaborative work. So what that collaborative work says is like, I mean, if somebody has a problem, then you can connect and then you can clear up the doubts, etc., etc. And solving the problems in HackerRank, etc., is like is a fun doing it, because as I told you, the length of code is not that much, it's pretty much less. So that's why, like, understanding internally, understanding recursive calls, etc., this becomes a more hard part. Let me go back to my presentation, guys. We are almost running out of our time also. So what else is remaining for today? So something is maximum number of elements in a binary tree. Okay, number of elements in a binary tree. I think we came to this part for 9:30, guys. What you can do is this number of elements of the binary tree and max element of a binary tree, these both are also having the similar code, right? Similar code. I want you to just try to experiment and write code for that. Tomorrow in our next class, we'll be seeing the code for that as well. But maybe you can take that as a homework, because I told you this is how we have to write, right? There'll only be a small tweaking, right? Very small tweaking to our program, and we'll be getting the maximum, we'll be getting the number of elements, and we'll be getting the max element as well. Okay, take this as a homework, guys. We'll be doing this homework tomorrow also, but make sure you're writing it. Okay. Good, guys. So with this part, let's end our session for today. In case you find it a little bit more confusing, maybe try to watch the recording once more. I tried to make make it as simple as possible, as low code as possible, so that it becomes easier for you. Okay, so with this point, guys, I'm trying to end my session for today. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day. Bye bye.